Hi there, everybody. Sorry, we're having a few technical problems here. In Japan, where I am, we've got a typhoon really going crazy out there. Two typhoons, actually. And Ebishida's got incredible heat in the UK. So I just couldn't connect until just a moment ago. And Ebishida's here now, I think. Well, two of her are here. So I don't know which one to bring on to the Oh, there you are. Very strange things happening. Ah, dear. Never mind. We made it. We're here. How are you doing?
I'm good. Just
You're good.
Hot.
Hot, yeah. Incredible.
I think this is the last day. Tomorrow it's going to start cooling back.
Oh, really? Well, here it's quite cold. And raining and horrible, really, here. And I think once this is over, we're going to have glorious summer. So there we are. The weather is very strange. Anyway, today then, we want to talk about Lodestone because we've been talking about many other aspects of the human body, of communication, and all the things which really are involved in Lodestone. And we've got a few questions we're going to answer. And if you're out there, I couldn't get any comments going before, but maybe they're okay now. Oh, there we are. Yeah, they're okay. King's here. Hello, King. He's here. So welcome to LinkedIn members and YouTubers. And yes, let's talk about Lodestone. It's been a while since we really talked about how it works and what it does and what it can do for you. So we'll answer some questions. But just before we do that, let me just bring a little thing onto the stage. Yes, let me just talk about this. This is the ebook. So when you sign up for Lodestone, you get a lifetime license of the audio transcriptions, but you also get this ebook. And this ebook is full of detail and it's going to actually be published separately very soon, probably next week. So you can see that it really goes through what it is. And this is what I wanted to point out, why Lodestone came about. Ebishila knows the story, but just briefly, yeah, I come from the background of professional musician as a younger person, a writer, an educator, and also someone who's always worked with the body. I'm an Alexander teacher, Feldenkrais teacher. Maybe those things don't mean anything to you, but they're all about how to get the body working smoothly and naturally, because human beings tend to develop strange habits with their bodies. So if you're sitting watching people, I love doing that. If you watch people walking around, you'll see they have different postures. You know, some are stooped, some are pulled back, some are very kind of wide, some are very narrow, and that's all to do with the habits that we use to live our lives. So in my case, yeah, I brought this all together to create Lodestone, which is a series of 30 days of audio files, not videos, audios, because video is a distraction when we're really trying to become mindful. This is mindful practice, really. So it's better if we shut out the visual as much as we can, come down into the body, and then we start to touch the unlimited mind, or rather our consciousness, if you want to call it that, human consciousness. So it's much better to close down the very busy, overwhelming, often visual, intellectual world. So I brought all this together from my music background, my bodywork background, my passion for educating people and helping people, and also my indigenous experience. So 30 years ago now, wow, it's 30 years ago, I spent quite a long time with a group of Australian Aboriginals. who were going back to live a traditional style life. In other words, they were not happy with the comforts and conveniences that you and I might be happy with. They didn't feel it was natural. So they wanted to go back to living close to the earth, close to nature. And I learned so much from them. They taught me so much about how to be close to the earth. And I've put all that into Lodestone too. Plus, I'm a Buddhist, a lifelong Buddhist. I've been Buddhist since I was 10. And I'm also a Buddhist priest. So I'm bringing all of that together.
What type of Buddhism are you? Because people always ask, there's different types. What's your Buddhism called?
Oh, well, I've been many types. I've been, but at the moment I'm a Shingon Buddhist. And Shingon is a typical Japanese sect, very old sect here. It's been here for 1,200 years, and it came from China. So the route to Japan is from China, and before China, India. So of course the Buddha developed his teachings in India, and then gradually those teachings traveled across Europe and into China, and then 1,000 years ago or so they came to Japan. And Shingon, the Shingon Buddhist sect, is the main sect really here. So yes, all of those things are involved in Lodestone. And so you can read all about this in the ebook, and it really goes into a lot of detail about, postures, neuroscience. I try to involve everything really, embodied perceptions and so on, how to look after your back. And this is what I really wanted to point out to you. This diagram here, let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Because just briefly, Ebishile, indulge me. I'll be back in a moment. Just laying the kind of foundation of this, and then we can start to chat about it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is really the blueprint of Lodestone, because it's composed of 4 inner compasses. Now, that's why it's called Lodestone. People say to me, what is Lodestone? Well, Lodestone is an ancient compass. Before the mechanical compass was invented, when people couldn't see the stars and the moon and the sun because of, fog or desert sandstorms or something, they would use magnetite, which is a type of rock. It exists in many places all over the world, and it's magnetic. So actually you can make a compass out of magnetite, and that's what people did. So that word Lodestone, I love it. Maybe she's just crackling away there. You okay? I love the idea of this ancient stone. And the exciting thing is that magnetite, which is what lodestones are made of, exists in the human body. Yeah. So, maybe you've never thought about it. Okay. Maybe she just got some problems, I think. Never mind. She knows all this, so it'll be fine. If you know anything about the human body at all, then you probably know that we have lots of minerals and trace elements in the body that work to create our biochemistry and so on. And basically, we have magnetite in our pineal gland, which is just here, just between your eyebrows. There is magnetite in that gland, small traces of it. Oh dear, we are having lots of problems. There you are. So yes, these are the 4 compasses, okay? And I've done a lot of work on these throughout my life, and they've been really confirmed by yoga and by various other Eastern disciplines, and basically there are 4 of them. So you've got your spine, your brainstem, pineal gland, where we have magnetite. You've got your lungs and heart, they work together. Then we've got the solar plexus, which is just at the bottom of the rib cage. Very, very important center of energy. And then right at the base of your spine, you have a really important energy center. It's the place of birth for women, of procreation for men, and elimination for all of us. So if we don't eliminate toxins from the body, then we get very sick and we could die. So that's a really important center for us, right at the base of the spine. You're sitting on it right now, perhaps. And that's really the biggest foundation of your energy as a human being. And then, I'll just be 2 more minutes. These red lines here are really important because they are the vagus nerve. Okay, the vagus nerve is a nerve that starts in the brain, comes down right inside the gut and down each arm into the hands. And the vagus nerve, in most people who live in so-called developed societies, in cities and so on, they have no tone in their vagus nerve because they don't use it. People who live close to the earth and animals have very toned up vagus nerves, which the vagus nerve allows us to get feedback from the body to the brain. So in a moment, we'll talk about burnout, because burnout is a situation in which we can't get the signals from the body. So the vagus nerve is really flaccid, really has no tone. It's never been used, perhaps. And so the distress that's building up inside the body, inside the nervous system, we don't know about it here. We're not getting those signals, that feedback. And so people collapse, the nervous system collapses, and burnout is a really horrible thing. So we developed Lodestone to really work on these 4 compasses, which is what they do. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. That's just a little bit of background. And then Abby, Sheila and I will just talk a little bit about various questions and so on that we've put together. So, Abby, Sheila, the first one, do you want to tell us it? Tell us the first question.
Oh, so why intelligent, capable people are exhausted?
Yeah. So this,
too much yeah.
This is a really important question. You know, we've got all these really bright people with all these qualifications, all this experience, you know, in the workplace and so on, but they're exhausted. And most people are saying this to me.
A lot of people are saying it.
Yeah, my main problem is I feel so tired all the time. Now, why is that? Well, as Abby Sheila started to say, really, there's just too much going on out there.
Yeah, overloaded. I think actually it was Abdullahi put a comment in there. Maybe we can expand on that, because I think he's talking. The first question is good for what he said. I don't know if you can look in the comments. In a world that constantly pulls our attention outward, taking time to reconnect with ourselves feels more important than ever.
Oh, good.
Very good comment, isn't it?
Oh, super. Abdullahi, welcome. I know your work well, and it's so good you're here. I can't see that comment, Abby Sheila, so there's something strange happening this end. I can only see King. I don't know why. So I'll rely on you to tell me what's happening in the comments. So, yes. We are disconnected. That's so true. And I'm writing about this all the time. So is Abby Sheila. We're talking about this all the time on LinkedIn, because what's happening is that people are performing.
Yes.
They're pushing themselves out. They think that's what is required of them.
And why is that? Why are
Yes.
we performing? And I think
Yeah. Good
it
question.
comes down to self-trust, because we're performing because validation, expectation, people pleasing,
Yeah.
perfectionism,
Yeah.
all those isms that come with this.
Yes, so true.
Because why is that? Because it's lack of self-trust. We're not trusting in what we're doing, so we're looking for that external validation to say you're doing well, or validation, you get a promotion, you get a better job, all those things that come with validation.
Yes, yes. And I think this is so true, that we're so busy seeking the approval and validation of other people that we don't seek our own.
We forget who we are. That like Abdullah, he said, disconnection.
Yes, we are disconnected. Yeah, most people are disconnected. And the thing that worries me is nowadays that, and I know Abdullahi knows about this, the thing that worries me is that many people, many entrepreneurs, many business owners are offering mental strategies still.
Mindset shift.
I attended a webinar yesterday, a South African group of people. It was great. But this new thing that I hoped would involve embodiment and involve the body and connecting into the body was yet another mental strategy. It was all about putting tiles in the right place. It's a kind of AI thing, but it's all mental. So I went mental and I said, well, what about the body? And the organizer was really shocked and said, what do you mean, what about the body? And I said, well, how can you really start to find out what kind of a leader you are? And this is what the product was doing. It would tell you what kind of a leader you are by choosing these tiles and putting them in the right order. And I said, well, how can we tell what kind of a leader we are if we're not involving the body, the nervous system, the spirit? The mind is only one small part of this human entity, and we disregard the rest, most of us. So the organizer was really shocked, and he's arranged an appointment to speak to me. So I think he realizes that there's something missing here. And it is, Abdullahi has put his finger on, it's the missing piece. This is what's missing now from our future progress with AI, with the digital excellence that we've got at our fingertips. What is missing is the human element, isn't it? And that human element is exactly about what I started off at this transmission by talking about. It's bringing together all the strands that form Lodestone to start to work on the body, to start to show the body that it is important and it's listening all the time. And every word we say is an instruction to the body. And so by bringing together all of these elements that are part of my background, then I'm bringing this bodily connection right into the foreground, and it's new. People are so shocked. Many people talk to me about embodiment, and I say, so you use embodiment in your coaching or whatever? And they say, yes, I do. So, well, I say, please tell me more. They then proceed to describe it, like from a textbook. It's like they've learnt these quotations about what embodiment is. But so then I say, do you think you are embodied? And
Great question.
they say, oh no, no. So, like many mental strategies, we can push them out and offer them to people, and people will even pay for them. But very often, the person who's created them is really working entirely from this mind, the limited mind. Those strategies are not connected to the body or to the vagus nerve or to anything to do with the human spirit very often. So I think that Lodestone offers that opportunity to reconnect. Now, maybe Sheila, you experienced Lodestone. You've done a lot of work now with embodiment and with Lodestone. So what's your verdict? Does it reconnect you?
I would say short answer is yes. But I think because when you think about it, when we start school from the beginning, it's always talking about how we need to perform, how we need to perform as children, how we need to perform in adult life to be able to succeed. And I think the one thing human beings have forgotten, and maybe that's because they connect the spirit to religion, which it isn't connected. It's not connected to religion. And maybe that's why we avoid it. But the thing is that there are three of us in one.
Yeah.
And I would say the most important part of us, which has always been and will always be and will continue to be, is the spirit side of us, which we completely neglect. So how can we be whole, or how can we really know who we are if we're not embodied and finding out what that is? Because if we're using the intellect is a great tool which is there to protect us and help us to survive in this realm that we're in. But it doesn't really understand and doesn't really know the real us. It doesn't know the real us, does it? It only knows us intellectually from what we're told. That's why when you ask people, who do you think you are? They start, I'm a doctor, I'm a mother, I'm a wife. But that's not you, that's your identity. So yeah, I would say the simple answer is yes. Because, and I guess for me, I've always known deep down about the spirit side of me. So when I took the Lodestone, yeah, it does. And you know, the great thing about it is that because we will always be challenged, we will always have things thrown at us, but things that once you know how to use the tool and you embody it, then you can stand on your own, because you don't need somebody there helping you all the time. You don't need to be running to a therapist every time you have a problem.
Right.
So your whole attitude changes, and when you are in a position of challenge, you know exactly how to get yourself back into equilibrium. And also your posture, which is something I've struggled with all my life. Your posture, and I didn't even realize that my posture had changed until people started pointing out to me. Oh, somebody even said to me once I was sitting there, oh, I like the way you are always like that. But it just, one thing is that when you become embodied, it's not something that you use, it just becomes a part of you. And it is difficult to describe. Well, I mean, I'm just describing it in the best way that I can. But I can't really describe. But what I know is it helps you to be self-sufficient. It is sustainable because you then know what to do, because you don't want to be running. I think that if you're dependent on another human being, that's not right.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot.
You should never be dependent on another human being. So you should never be dependent on, for instance, a therapist. You know, they can help you through a certain period, but it shouldn't be that you have to go back. You should be able to, and I think with Lodestone, you're able to get yourself back in, because it is a lifelong, once we're here, it is a lifelong thing that we will have challenges. So even if you're doing the right thing, you will have people who are not doing the right thing, who will share with you. So how do you deal with that? You will have people who will not be nice to you. How do you deal with that? You know, you might get ill. How do you do? First of all, you prevent getting ill? And then if you do get ill, how do you deal with that? Physically, mentally, spiritually, how do you deal with that? So you need a system that will be able to help you.
Yes.
As they say, teach a man to fish, don't give him the fish. It's what we do. We always try to give people stuff. You're not helping.
Yes, no. I really agree. And I really like that you've brought in self-reliance, because actually that's the other strand that helped me to develop Lodestone, because I have always understood and always felt deep in my being that I should not depend on anybody. And in fact, as a child, it was so difficult for my parents, because I was so independent at the age of 3. I just wanted to do everything myself and be able to. And then I grew up with a father who taught me everything. He said to me one day when I was a teenager, he said, right, come on, I'm going to teach you everything I know so that you don't have to depend on a man. Now, that may seem a bit anti-masculine, but no, it's true. I think that so many women
because then you can help. If you have a man, then he doesn't have to do everything. You can be supportive. So and then if you're on your own, you can stand on your own. You don't have to. Because some people do go into relationships because they can't do it themselves. So it helps them to be dependent. And that's not a nice feeling for anybody, to be dependent on somebody else.
No, it's a horrible thing. I hate it. And so, yes, I can do anything. My father was wise enough. I can repair cars. I can build walls.
Wow.
I can do absolutely anything. And I'm very strong too, which he taught me to be physically very strong. So I'm so lucky. And that kind of seed of self-reliance has really followed me through life. And about 10 years ago, I was so inspired by a Russian author who defected to the US, called Ayn Nin, wonderful writer who talked about exactly that. The Soviets came along while she was in Soviet Russia. She could only stand it for 1 year because everything depended on everything else, and everybody depended on everybody else. And they were crazy about community, So she defected, and then she wrote this extraordinary philosophy called objectivism, which really touched me. And she really very strongly expressed that we are each morally responsible for our own happiness.
Exactly. And nobody else is responsible to make you happy.
No, that's right.
It makes me happy. No, that's not their responsibility.
That's right. And my famous question I often ask people, are you happy? Oh, yeah, I'm so happy. I've got a wonderful wife. I've got 3 kids. I've got a great job, super car. I go on holiday twice a year. Love it. I'm so happy. So then pause. And then you say, but would you be happy without those things? Mm-hmm. Panic. No, I would not. So people outsource everything to their relationship, to their doctor, to their teacher, to their therapist. And it means then that we're living in a shell. We're just outsourced to everything else, everybody else. And when we come home and put the lights on, it's glorious. When we come back to the body and realize that we really have everything we need right here to be entirely happy. If I found myself on a desert island tomorrow, washed up from a shipwreck, I'd be fine.
Would you find peace and happiness on a desert island?
Yes. We talk about that a lot too, don't we? Yeah. Peace and wealth, inner wealth, means you can survive anywhere, anytime. And you don't have to suffer the terrible things that loss can rain down upon you. For example, losing a partner, death, the death of a partner, or losing your home, or whatever. You don't have to suffer those things because you're self-reliant enough to know that you can start again and you are entirely okay with those things. Maybe Sheila, you've gone very quiet. You've muted for some reason.
Sorry about that. I have a work person here, which I told don't come till 10 because I'm on a call till 10. And I just got the message, so I've got background noise. Sorry about that.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So it's when you're in difficult situations, do you find peace?
Yeah.
That's right. Or do you need those things to find peace?
Yes.
It's the question. And I think because we're so disconnected, a lot of people, if they don't have certain things in life, they can't find peace and happiness. They're miserable, they're sad. So they lose a loved one. And it is difficult to lose a loved one. But that's the one sure thing that will happen to us. There will be change and there will be death.
Yeah, those are the only permanent things.
It can come at any time.
Yeah.
And it can come at any age. So therefore, it's not a surprise. And we should be able to be still, although we're grieving and having the pain, but still be within peace and harmony. And my most favorite scripture, and I don't know if I've mentioned that before, is back when Jesus was on the boat and the people that were with him, his disciples were with him, and he was fast asleep, enjoying his sleep, and there was just so much turmoil in the ocean, and they woke him up. Oh, why are you sleeping? Look at how the thing. He said, "Why are you scared?" I think everything in the scriptures is like, it's not literal. So it's like we've got a lot of turmoil happening around us all the time, and then we panic. Why are you panicking? We should be, and I think Lodestone helps with that, in that you can find inner peace even with all the turmoil. So there's a lot of political turmoil, which is all drama. It's drama and attractions. That's what people don't realize. It's all drama. It's like we're living in a movie. And depending on where you are is what you'll see. So if you don't have inner peace, all you'll be seeing is chaos. Yeah. But when you have inner peace, those other people will be seeing chaos, but you can't see the chaos. And you're kind of thinking, why you... panicking? It's okay. It's fine.
We have incredible strength. We have incredible resources. And of course, great spiritual leaders like JC and Buddha and so on, they had it all. They knew it all, and they were totally self-resourceful.
It's not that you can't make changes. So if you wanted to make, because people say, oh, it doesn't mean you don't care about what's going on. No, it's not that you can't make changes, but you have the clarity to make changes as opposed to the emotion to create more chaos. And you remember, emotions get stuck in our body. So not only with your emotions are you creating more chaos, but you're also creating this ease within your body.
Yes, well said. Absolutely. And this is a great word to think about. The word disease rings terrible bells with people, doesn't it? Because it implies a kind of chronic condition that maybe is going to kill you, and you can learn about it any day from a test, and this kind of thing. But if we reactivate that word and call it dis-ease, so cut it in half, dis-ease, then it means we're not easy with ourselves. And that's what it is, exactly what it is. So I work with people with Lodestone and with my various healing techniques to get them to become eased in their own bodies. And we've done that a lot with the work Sheila and I have been doing. And if we reframe that word and reactivate it, so it's split in half, and it's really saying that we are not easy with our bodies, then we're not scared anymore of a horrible disease being pronounced upon us by someone outside. No, that's the other scary thing, that, we've outsourced our health to such an extent that we run to the doctor whenever we have any fear, and the doctor pronounces, oh, yes, you have this. Oh, yes, you have that. Well, that's not what being human is about, to be honest. Humanity is about our inner resources. We know, or we should know, ourselves best of all. But you see, people, going back to the disconnection, people don't know themselves these days. And if you ask them who they are, they panic again and they say, oh, I don't know. Who am I? Because we're projecting polished IDs all the time. And Ebishida and I talked about going to parties. When you go to a party, people want to know, what's the first thing they want to know? What do you do? So they're dead curious to know what your job is, So when people ask me that at a party, and I started to do this about 30 years ago, I say, oh, well, basically, I'm a full-time human being.
I like that.
And they're completely shocked. And they go off and talk to somebody else because they can't possibly accept that. So I'm not interested in telling them my status or my, income or any of that stuff, because that is not the important thing. The important thing is that we are human beings. And what we do to earn money is the bottom of the pile. As if you followed us through these weekly sessions and through Your Body is Your Business Plan, also on a Wednesday, you'll see we're always talking about, getting to the root of what it is to exist. To exist, the first, most important thing of all is your breath. Without that, you can't do it. You can't live. So that's the other thing to say at a party. I'm a full-time breather. I breathe 20 to 24,000 times every 24 hours. Really?
And that's another thing we forget. I think we take the breath for granted.
Yes.
Because it's just part of when we're alive. Yes. And we take it for granted, but it's just such an important part of who we are.
Yes.
So being conscious of the breath, because as we get older, like when you see a baby, when they're born, they breathe correctly, don't they? They breathe from their diaphragm.
Very often, yes, unless they've got some little disease or some little
normally, they breathe normally.
Yes,
but as we get older, we forget, and we're breathing more from here, which kind of affects everything. And I guess I don't know if I'm right. It's affecting also our mental health, and it's also affecting our connection to who we are if we're not breathing properly. So breath is a very important part of what we do and who we are.
Indeed. So just going back to Lodestone for a moment, then Lodestone works on 3 pillars. Okay, and I'll just go through these briefly. It works on, first, your breath, secondly, your spine, and thirdly, your whole body awareness. And we call it whole body listening. And it's something that animals do, and also tribal peoples do. They don't just listen with their ears. This is intellectual listening, and of course, it's useful. But when I work with people, I get them to do whole body listening, so that we are actually using the whole body when we're sitting, listening to someone speak in a meeting or at an event or whatever. Then the whole body is listening. The whole body is involved.
It's funny with the whole body listening, because like you said, with the Aborigines, they can tell when the rain is coming even before it comes. But I tell you, one experience that I had was when I just did this whole body listening, because obviously I'm trying to make it a habit. And just before the wine glass fell over the table, I knew it was going to fall over the table.
Oh, right.
But I hadn't
right,
trusted myself then to be able to stop it from happening. But
right,
then it happened.
right.
So the thing about the whole body listening is that sometimes, and I think all times actually, if there's danger coming towards you, if you're doing the whole body listening, you will know. And with practice, you'll be able to maybe prevent it or get yourself in a position where you probably won't be harmed.
Mhm.
So I
So
think it's
true.
such an important thing. Yeah, and
Mm.
Lodestone is teaching me the importance of it, because people call it intuition, and yeah, maybe it is, but maybe that's another word for it, intuition. But we all have it. Some people just think it's just a special thing that I have.
That's right. We all have it. It's in our blueprint. It's in our DNA, you know. And yes, as Ebijila was saying, I learnt the importance of this when I was with these Aboriginals who were tribal people returning to traditional life. One day we were walking through the desert, you know, no signposts, no roads, nothing for 5,000 miles, the South Australian desert, there's nothing there. And walking through the desert with these tribal peoples, and suddenly the leader stopped. He was a beautiful, tall Aborigine. He stopped, dead stock still, and he stood on one leg, which they often do when they're whole body listening. I don't recommend that unless you've got someone to guide you. Be careful with that. But, you know, it's a very good way to really focus. So he stopped, and we all stopped, and we were not sure what was going to happen. And then he, after 2 or 3 minutes, he turned to us and said, "We have to run because there's a sandstorm coming, and it's coming very quickly." So we did. We removed to a cave that was nearby. We sheltered in the cave, and the most terrible sandstorm blew up.
Wow.
And we probably would have been suffocated. It was, you know, thick red sand, not like desert sand. Australian desert is thick red sand. So he got that through his feet. He could feel the vibrations. And later we checked, and that sandstorm was 10 miles away at that moment. So we are capable of really detecting vibrations at 10 miles, 10-mile radius. The other thing that Aboriginals do that really takes your breath away is boomerang throwing.
Oh, yeah.
And that is all about whole body listening, because what they're doing is they're so attuned to the place, the area they're throwing in. And I've seen this, I've watched it happen many times, that they really prepare, they rev up, they start this incredible movement. And then when the timing is right and their whole body is aware, they throw in the opposite direction, of course, from their quarry, which is over here. And it comes right round and bang, spot on. I've seen Aborigines kill kangaroos, emus, just like that. First shot. Amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And so there we are.
It's really good because it's an element of surprise, causes no pain to the animal because the animal doesn't know it's coming. So they're just hitting everything in nature, the way it's supposed to be. That's amazing.
They are completely killed by that first shot. And that's why the boomerang is that design. Because not only will it fly beautifully, but actually it will they aim usually for the back of the skull. And as you know, that's where we can die very quickly if we fall. And so the boomerang really comes here like this. And the animal is killed right out.
Straight away. Wow.
Straight out. It's phenomenal. And I've seen that. I've actually been and witnessed that. So, yeah, if we only realize that our ancestors lived in this way. There were no phones, there were no devices, there was nothing, you know. So our ancestors could survive incredible things simply because they were 100% aware. And unfortunately, in our case, we've got all these ways of outsourcing our our being in the world, and so we've forgotten how to do those things. But it's only a question of forgetting. The body,
Yeah, so it is there. We just need to bring it out again.
yes, and that's what Lodestone does. Through a 30-day program, it takes you through breath work, spine work, whole body listening work. So by about day 20, people say, oh, I feel so different. I really feel so different. My whole life looks different. So we're dipping into the unlimited mind. We're going down away from the intellect, away from the visual field, into a still, quiet place. And that's where we reconnect with ourselves, and we suddenly know who we are. And then we can change our lives and become authentic, become ourselves with everybody. No acts, no masks. I am completely myself with everybody, whether it's the Queen or a beggar on the street. You know, it's about that consistency that comes from knowing deeply who you are.
Yeah.
And I'm so thrilled to
We're
be
all equal and we're all connected. So before we finish, because we're really running out of time now, it's such an interesting conversation. I would like you to talk about why Lodestone is different from other tools, because that would be a good way to round up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, Abby. Thanks for keeping an eye on the time. I've got no controls here, hardly any controls, so I can't see what's happening. Anyway, yes. Well, Lodestone is completely different to any other product I've researched, and it's interesting that I got the idea to develop it and started building it. And then I thought, oh, I better research and see if anybody else has done this. And nobody else had done it. So it is completely different because it works on your inner life. It brings you away from what I call the firework display of the intellect, which is fabulous, and all the concepts and analyses. It's fabulous that we have those tools, and now we need them even more than ever. But it brings you away from all that just for 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day for 30 days, and it sets up a brand new rhythm in your life, where you become aware of your breath, re-aware of it. You become aware of your spine. You also learn how to use non-doing. So this practice is non-doing. You don't do anything. All you have to do is follow my voice. I guide you, and follow your breath. That's it. And by the end of the half hour, your spine has lengthened by at least 1 centimeter. That's the power of a non-doing mind. We do too much. We think we've got to put effort into everything if it's going to be successful. It's absolutely not true. If you do nothing, you start to really connect with your inner resources. And Lodestone is different because it is utterly 100% invested in the fact that you are the sole supreme commander of your life. Nobody else can live your life for you. Nobody else can tell you how to live your life. You are supreme controller of your life. So Lodestone
But
really,
I think the thing is that it is, why don't we do that? Is that because people are scared I mean, why is it that most people outsource their lives to somebody else?
Right, that's a huge question, and I know we don't have much time, but basically it's because our global population has exploded, the incredible number of people in this world, now 8 billion people on planet Earth. It means that we are forced to socialize. We're forced into systems that have to keep control of us.
They have to keep control of us. Socialization is good.
But socialization is good.
Is where the thing is that the systems feel, or the powers above feel that they have to keep control. But do they have to keep control? Are we allowing them to control us?
I believe
why are we allowing that? Is that because intellectually we feel safer, but really we're not safer if we're being controlled?
Really, what we've done is we've sold out. We're sold out to the systems. We are always deferring. We're always comparing. And we say, oh, she's much more beautiful than I am.
Yeah.
I'll just disappear. Oh, he's giving his opinion so well. Oh, no, my opinion's no good. We're all the time.
But is that because we're disconnected that we do that with ourselves? Because if we truly know who we are, we are
disconnected. Yeah. So we think we're not good enough because we don't know ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we don't realize the riches that we have inside us. And so we defer out of fear, really. Fear of looking a
so
fool.
It's this again, isn't it? This is telling us that's why it's important to have the inner, the embodied,
Yes. And the ego, of course, becomes huge. And so we have this kind of polished ego that we are navigating the world with. And so it's quite interesting to watch people interacting ego to ego. And those people don't really know who they are anyway, but they can perform. So life becomes a huge performance with an extensive wardrobe of masks that you wear in your job, in your home, in your club, in your parents' house. You've got all these different masks that get approval from the groups around you. So as we started off saying today, we're so busy seeking validation, seeking external approval, that we totally neglect who we are inside, and we totally neglect the fact that we need our own approval first.
And Lodestone can help us get there. So okay.
Lodestone will get you into that position where you know who you are. And so confidence, people are talking about confidence all the time. Confidence is a state of being. It's not a mind concept. It's not a group of words. Confidence comes from your nervous system. And until you put the lights on at home, until you go back to your body.
You put the lights on at home.
If you go back to your spirit, as Ebishida was talking about, if you go back inside, then your confidence becomes your main state of being. And so give me a room full of 1,000 people, and I will tell you which people are embodied, from the way they hold their bodies, from the aura they have, from the radiance they have.
That's true. That's true. That's true, because with radiance, that is so true. Because you don't have to say anything, but people on the outside can just see, because you're radiating differently, and people will just say to you, there's something about you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. People will say, oh, there's something different about you. What is it? And of course, as you said before, it's very difficult to explain what it is.
You can't, because again, you probably don't, it, but you don't know it. You understand? It's just you're just being it. So you're being a human being. You're just being.
Yes, it's not connected. Yeah. That's right. It's not connected to knowledge. Knowledge is here. We don't need knowledge. We don't need all of that, actually. It's very nice to have it, but we don't need it to live our lives as human beings. Think again of the desert island. You know, if you were born on a desert island alone, we would survive. We would have the inner resources from our DNA, from our ancestral lineage to make a life with no knowledge. Yeah, we would. So it's the nature nurture argument, which has been going on for centuries. Yeah, but Lodestone really overcomes all that by reconnecting you to your body, your
It's
spirit,
simple, isn't it?
and your mind, your unlimited mind. Yes,
It's
it's so simple.
simple, but I guess it's not easy now because we're disconnected. But once you become connected, then it's simple and easy.
Yes, that's right. And I have to say, Ebishila, you're a really wonderful example
I know, I
of,
feel it. I feel it every day.
of this
Every
work.
I test it out. I test it out in terms of what people say or things that I used to get upset about before. I do test it out regularly just to kind of see, am I just living in cuckoo land or la la la? What is really real? And I see inside the inner. I think the greatest gift is the inner peace. The inner peace, and again, the confidence, like you said, what people call confidence. You
Yeah.
know, that
Yes.
I feel.
Yes. Confidence is not something you can learn. It's like trust. You know, people say, "Oh, I don't deserve your trust." That is completely wrong use of this word trust. It's a word, and words are simply symbols. But what is beneath that trust word is the state of trust, which starts down in your nervous system. And then, as you mentioned, Ebishila, earlier about, you know, the falling glass, catching it before it falls. If you're truly embodied, then you will know inside so much about your life and your existence that there's no need to express anything in a way. You simply have to be.
Just be, yeah. It is just be,
It's
and
just
that
being.
is just a beautiful place to be, because I guess it's like you said, coming back home.
Yeah.
It's like coming back home.
Yeah, this is exactly how we were meant to live. We were never meant to live through the filters, numerous filters of the intellectual mind. They filter everything. We have to interpret everything, you know. We don't have to live like that. We want to live as pure human beings, close to the earth, breathing the oxygen the earth provides for us, held on the earth in the safety of the gravitational force, which is there to hold us on the earth, and to be grateful for those things. For me, that's what human life is all about. It's our connection with the earth. And once we are really connected to the earth through Lodestone, Lodestone will connect you to the earth through the breath, through the spine,
Yeah.
through the whole body awareness.
Yeah, talking about connection to the earth, there was this lady I used to follow about 10 years ago, and her son was autistic, and it was non-verbal at the time, and she was living in the city. She had a big job in London in the city, and I think she did a lot about nature and the earth and the connection to the earth. So our connection to earth is so important, and she decided to give up her job, and she went into the country, and she got her son connecting to the earth. And it was like a miracle. So
Yeah.
he's grown up now, and he's got a degree, speaks 2 languages, but this was someone that said he would never be able to speak non-verbal. But the connection to the earth, and we don't really realize, especially when you live in a city, because we don't have a lot of that connection because it's all concrete.
Yeah.
So we don't have that connection. But yeah, but that story made me, I guess that was one of my awakening to the connection that we do have to the earth itself. And like in Nigeria, before anything important is done, thanks is always given to the earth. So they call it libation. So they always give thanks. And they always give like the first crop or the first drink or the first everything back to the earth.
Yeah, that's right.
And I guess native people understand our connection to the earth.
Yeah. No, and people don't feel it either. I mean, they may know the facts, but
Yes, yes, yes.
the
Because it's
problem
now
is that,
become robotic for us because we've disconnected
yes,
to
that's right.
ourselves. But once we're connected, we start to feel the earth, you know.
Yes, yes. So, you know, people say the map is not the territory. Yeah, you may know lots about the earth, you may not know lots about the environment, or lots about embodiment, but until you have direct experience of those things, which is what your autistic son did, and I've worked with autism too, and with the earth too, and yes, once they're connected, they realize they don't have to communicate in the way other people expect them to communicate.
Exactly,
They
exactly.
relax. They become totally relaxed. Very often they learn to speak again, or they allow themselves to speak, and so on. And they
Actually,
live
some
in,
evidence has come out, some scientific evidence that, and I don't know where this is, right? I read it somewhere, or maybe I heard it from you, where some of them as adults are saying it was a choice. Some of them, I'm not sure it's all of them.
yeah,
It's
I
not
know. Yeah, yeah, that's right. ADHD, all of these syndromes are, in my view, very much connected with staying too long in the limited mind, the brilliant but limited mind. And unfortunately, our education systems in developed countries have really moved along that pathway that, you know,
yeah,
everything is
limited mind.
here. So this is real. Lodestone is real re-education. It's reconnection. It's re-everything, and it will really change your life if you make a commitment to it. So wonderful! It's very
Thank you.
exciting.
That's a great note to end on, isn't it? Yeah,
Yes,
that's great.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
It's good. And Ebby and I, we have to say, Ebby and I are working really hard to bring people together to be introduced to Lodestone. You can contact both of us and get more information about it. There are booklets. There are all sorts of things we can give you. And we're also now working with companies, and we're making various circles embodied. I'm creating an embodied health care professional circle, and it will be launched very soon. And Ebishid is running summits to get people to come and talk about leadership.
Yes.
And it's great. In August, there will be the 11th and 12th of August, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Super.
Yes. Yes. And we
So,
will talk a lot about, at least both of us will talk a lot about embodiment in that summit.
yeah. So there are lots of opportunities to come and join us. And Your Body is Your Business Plan is every Wednesday. And we always have fabulous discussions there about all of this stuff. And then you can find out about burnout, breakthrough, avoiding burnout by joining us on Monday for the burnout breakthrough, when we talk specifically about burnout problems. And then Ebby Sheila and I and Marlene Greenleaf talk at the weekend in Peace and Wealth about peace and wealth, inner wealth. So we're coming at it from many angles. So there are many opportunities for you to learn more about this. And the conversations are getting more and more exciting and more intense, aren't they, Ebby? We're having a great time launching this work and developing things all the time. So keep in touch with us and you'll be able to learn more about it. And we'll be back again next Friday. We're here every Friday, come what may. And we've been doing this for almost a year now, non-stop. We haven't missed a single week, not one single week since last August. So we're coming up for our yearly birthday, which we'll have to celebrate, I think. And, you know, if you have any questions or comments, please get in touch with us. We'd be so thrilled to tell you more about all of this work, and especially Lodestone, which is a real miracle product. It really is. Yeah. Ebby, thanks so much. It's great as always. And I think we'll just finish with this little video. Let's just watch this final video and then we'll say goodbye now, and we'll finish off this with this video, and then you can just learn a little bit more about Lodestone. Okay, Eddie, I'll see you very soon, and have a great weekend. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Hello. Hello. I want to show you why Lodestone matters now more than ever. We are living in an age of speed, overload, distraction, and artificial intelligence. And the more artificial systems shape our lives, the more important it becomes to recover what is deeply human. Inner orientation, embodied presence, discernment, steadiness, and the ability to act from something more truthful than pressure. Most people today do not have an information problem. They have a capacity problem. They are overloaded, fragmented, stuck in the head, and increasingly disconnected from the deeper intelligence of the body. And that affects everything. It affects how we think, how we listen, how we communicate, how we lead, how we work, and how we live. Lodestone is not a quick fix. It is not mindset training. And it is not just another well-being product. It is a structured, embodied practice that helps restore human capacity from the inside out. In the first video, I explained the real problem Lodestone addresses. Why so many people are functioning from fragmentation. And why this work is becoming essential in the digital and AI era. And if that first video resonates, you can continue into the full Lodestone Masterclass, where I go much deeper into the method, the practice, and what this work makes possible.